Hours ago, not weeks, not months, hours, the Mexican military just killed the most wanted man in the Western Hemisphere. Oseguera Cervantes, El Mencho, the leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, the man who shot down a military helicopter with a rocket launcher. The man who tried to assassinate Mexico City's police chief. The man the United States government was offering $15 million to capture. Dead, killed by special forces in the mountains of Jalisco. And right now, as you are watching this, 6 Mexican states are on fire. Buses burning, highways blocked, gunfights in the streets, the cartel's response to losing their leader. But here's what makes this story insane. Before Eleno became the most powerful drug lord on the planet, he was a cop. A Mexican police officer working the same side he would later terrorize. Before that, he was an avocado farmer's kid who dropped out of school in 5th grade. And before that, he was guarding marijuana fields at 14 years old. This is the story of how a 5th grade dropout from one of the poorest villages in Mexico became more powerful than El Chapo. How he built a fentanyl empire responsible for hundreds of thousands of American deaths. How he evaded capture for over a decade while his entire family got locked up. And how it all ended today in a helicopter ride to Mexico City that he did not survive. So, let's go back to where it all started. We're talking about truly humble beginnings, you know? This is the kind of place where opportunity is scarce, and life is just about getting by, day after day. July 17, 1966, a village called Naranjo de Chila in Aguililla, Michoacán. If you've never heard of it, well, that's kind of the point. Nobody has. It's a farming community tucked away in the mountains of western Mexico. Dirt roads, no running water, and families growing avocados because, honestly, that's just what the land allows. The Oseguera family really has nothing. Neo is born into a house where dropping out of elementary school isn't even a choice. It's just survival. By the time he finishes 5th grade, that's it. No more classroom. It's time to work. He starts out in the avocado fields, just like his father, and honestly, just like everyone else around him. But here is what is different about Michoacán. The same mountains that grow perfect avocados also grow something else. Marijuana, opium poppies, and the cartels that traffic them. By 14, Nemesio is not picking avocados anymore. He is guarding marijuana plantations for the traffickers, standing watch with a rifle while older men do the harvesting. Think about that. 14 years old, armed, working for drug traffickers. But he is smart enough to see the math. The farmers stay poor, the traffickers get rich, and the only way out of those mountains is to become one of them or leave entirely. He chooses both. Sometime in the mid-1980s, Nemesio crosses the border illegally into California. He is maybe 18 or 19 years old. He speaks limited English. He has no papers, no money, no connections. But he has something else. He knows the drug trade. The California years mark a turning point for Nemesio. He arrives with almost nothing, but his understanding of the drug world gives him a unique edge. As he navigates a new country, unfamiliar language, and the challenges of survival, Nemesio draws on the skills and instincts he learned back in Michoacán. It's a risky path, but for him, it's the only path forward. He ends up in the San Francisco Bay Area, using fake names to stay hidden. Rubenela, Jose Lopez, Prieto, Miguel Valadez, Carlos Hernandez. It's like a different identity for every situation. In 1986, he is arrested in San Francisco for possession of stolen property and for carrying a loaded gun. This is actually the first time United States law enforcement gets his fingerprints. He gets out, and well, he goes right back to the hustle. By the early 1990s, he has moved up, not just dealing, but distributing. He and his brother Abraham build a heroin network across Northern California, in Sacramento and the Bay Area, moving product through the Central Valley. In 1991, the DEA catches both brothers. They plead guilty in 1992. Abraham receives 10 years. Nemesio receives 5 years. Here's the thing. For most men, that is the end of the story. You do your time, you get deported, you stay in whatever village you came from. Maybe you keep dealing small time, maybe you go straight. Nemesio does something different. He learns. After his release, United States authorities deport him back to Mexico. Standard procedure. He is just another criminal they are sending home. So, here's where things get, well, even more unbelievable. After years spent moving heroin across California, he doesn't just disappear or lay low. Nope. He decides to join the police force in Jalisco. Yeah, you heard that right. The same guy who was running drugs is now wearing a badge. But was he really there to protect and serve? Not exactly. He was there to learn, to figure out how the police operate, to see who turns a blind eye, who can be bribed, and just how deep the corruption goes. But something happens next that almost nobody expects. He becomes a police officer. Seriously, the guy who just spent years running heroin in California joins the police force in Jalisco, puts on the uniform, carries the badge. Now, was he actually enforcing laws? Was he actually arresting criminals? No, he was learning. Learning how police operations work, learning who's corrupt, learning which departments look the other way, learning who can be bought. It's like a spy infiltrating an enemy organization, except the enemy is the state, and the organization is Mexico's entire law enforcement structure. He doesn't stay a cop long. He doesn't need to. He's already seen everything he needs to see. In the early 2000s, Nemesio joins the Millennial Cartel. At the time, Millennial is a satellite organization of the Sinaloa Cartel. The empire El Chapo is building into the most powerful drug trafficking operation on Earth. So, as we look at Nemesio's journey, it's clear he doesn't just stay at the bottom for long. He learns quickly, adapts to the dangerous world around him, and steadily climbs the ranks within the organization. Each step he takes brings him closer to the power and influence at the heart of Millennial. It's not just about survival anymore, it's about ambition, loyalty, and, honestly, knowing exactly when to make his move. Millennial handles distribution in western Mexico, including Jalisco, Colima, and Michoacán. Nemesio starts at the bottom or, pretty close to it. He joins the assassin squad protecting Armando Valencia Cornelio, a drug lord they call El Maradona. Think about that job description for a second. He isn't moving drugs. He isn't counting money. He's killing people. He's the guy who makes problems disappear. And, well, he's good at it. On August 12, 2003, Mexican authorities arrest El Maradona. At the same time, a rival cartel called Los Zetas starts an armed offensive against Millennial in Michoacán. Everything is falling apart. The Valencia family that controls Millennial has to flee to Jalisco, and Nemesio goes with them. But here's what he does in the chaos. He marries into the family. His wife becomes Rosalinda Gonzalez Valencia. Her brothers run Los Quinas, the financial wing of the cartel. They're money launderers, basically the bankers for the underworld. Nemesio just connected himself to the two things every drug lord needs, muscle and money. And now he has both. So, the emergence of the CJNG marks a new chapter in the Mexican drug trade. It's a moment when shifting alliances, betrayals, and sheer ambition converge. The group forms out of the ashes of previous organizations, adapting quickly to the ever-changing landscape. Their leaders are ruthless, and their methods, well, they are innovative and brutal. The CJNG would soon become one of the most powerful and feared cartels in the country, reshaping the balance of power in ways no one could have predicted. In Jalisco, Nemesio and the remains of the Millennial Cartel fall under the protection of Ignacio Coronel Variol. They call him Nacho Coronel. Nacho is a high-ranking Sinaloa Cartel figure, right-hand man to El Chapo himself. He controls meth production across western Mexico, massive industrial labs pumping out hundreds of millions of dollars worth of product. Under Nacho, Nemesio learns the big leagues. He is no longer protecting drug lords. He is becoming one, managing operations across Jalisco and Colima, overseeing drug routes and ordering hits. But the cartel world is unstable and, in 2010, everything changes. On July 29, 2010, Mexican Marines raid a house in Zapon, just outside Guadalajara. Nacho Coronel is inside. He resists. They kill him. That same year, Mexican authorities arrest Oscar Orlando Nava Valencia, another millennial leader. Suddenly, there is a power vacuum. The Sinaloa Cartel is distracted. The millennial cartel is collapsing and Nemesio sees his moment. He does not try to take over Milenio. He does not try to stay loyal to Sinaloa. He starts his own cartel from 2009 to 2010. The exact date depends on who you ask. But this is when the Jalisco New Generation Cartel is born. The founders are Ignacio Oseguera Cervantes and Eric Valencia Salazar, known as L85. The backers are Los Queenies, the Gonzalez Valencia family, and his in-laws. The territory is Jalisco, the state with Mexico's second-largest city, Guadalajara, home to the port of Manzano, the busiest port in the country, perfect for importing chemicals from China. And the strategy, well, it's something nobody has really done before. Eleno takes the Sinaloa cartel's business model, efficient drug trafficking, political corruption, community outreach, and combines it with the Zetas' military tactics, extreme violence, paramilitary operations, attacks on the state itself. He is building a hybrid, part corporation, part terrorist organization. The name El Mencho comes from Nemesio, a nickname, a brand, something the streets can remember. Within a few years, CJNG is not just competing with the Sinaloa cartel, it is matching them. It controls territory in more than 28 Mexican states. Part terrorist organization. The name El Mencho comes from Nemesio, a nickname, a brand, something the streets can remember. Within a few years, CJNG is not just competing with the Sinaloa cartel, it is matching them. It controls territory in more than 28 Mexican states. It has sales in all 50 American states and operations in Europe, Asia, and South America. And at the center of it all is a ghost. A man nobody can find. A man who gives no interviews, rarely gets photographed, and who moves constantly between mountain compounds. El Mencho. Early morning, the mountains of southern Jalisco. Mexican authorities have intelligence. They know El Mencho is hiding near Villa Purification. They launch an operation. Soldiers and federal police and 5 military helicopters. They are going to capture the most wanted man in Mexico. What they do not know is that El Mencho knows they are coming. As the helicopters approach, they spot a convoy of CJNG trucks and sport utility vehicles below. Armed men everywhere. Then the cartel opens fire. Not small arms, not machine guns, rocket-propelled grenades, military weapons designed to destroy tanks. One helicopter takes a direct hit to the rotor. It spirals, catches fire, crashes into the trees. 9 law enforcement officers died. This is the first time in the entire Mexican drug war that a criminal organization has shot down an aircraft. The first time. And El Mencho's men did it to protect him. While the military scrambles to respond, Eleno escapes into the mountains, vanishes. And his response, he does not just disappear. The same day, CJNG sets up roadblocks across Jalisco, burns vehicles, torches gas stations, attacks government buildings, creates so much chaos that authorities cannot even focus on pursuing him. The message is clear. Do not come for me again, because if you do, this is what happens. For years after that, the Mexican military does not take another serious run at him. If you want to understand why El Mencho mattered, you need to understand fentanyl. From 2013 to 2014, Mexican cartels began producing synthetic opioids, not heroin. That requires poppy fields, harvesting, processing. Synthetic opioids can be made in a lab. The precursor chemicals come from China, shipped through the port of Manzanillo. That became El Mencho's port. CJNG, the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, did not just produce fentanyl. They pioneered the Mexican fentanyl industry. Industrial-scale labs spread across Jalisco and Michoacán. Chemists were trained to manufacture the drug. Supply chains reached every corner of the United States. 1 kilogram of fentanyl costs roughly $4,000 to produce. That same kilogram, cut and sold on American streets, is worth over $1 million. The profit margins are insane and, honestly, the death toll is worse. From 2015 to 2025, fentanyl overdoses killed over 500,000 Americans. More than every war the United States has fought since Vietnam combined. CJNG is not solely responsible. The Sinaloa Cartel traffics fentanyl too. Chinese suppliers manufactured the precursor chemicals, but CJNG under El Mencho is one of the two main pipelines flooding the United States with the deadliest drug in history. The United States government knows exactly who to blame. That is why the bounty is $15 million. That is why in February 2025, President Trump's administration designated CJNG as a foreign terrorist organization. Not a cartel, a terrorist organization. Same legal status as ISIS or Al-Qaeda. From 2015 to 2026, El Mencho becomes a ghost story. The DEA puts him on their most wanted list. The U.S. State Department offers $15 million for information leading to his capture. Mexico offers another 300 million pesos. Combined bounty is over $30 million. And still, nobody can find him. The only images anyone has of Eleno are like years-old grainy photos. Maybe they're not even of him. He gives no interviews. He makes no public appearances. He does not post on social media. What he does do, though, is release audio recordings, these expert-filled rants threatening rivals and officials. His voice is just disembodied, promising violence to anyone who crosses him. Rumors, spread constantly. Some say he is dead from kidney disease. Others claim he has had surgery to change his appearance. There are whispers that he is living in Guatemala, or maybe he's hiding out in the mountains of Macahuacan. But none of it can be confirmed, because here's how he stays hidden. His inner security circle is made up of former Mexican military commandos, men with special forces training who are paid cartel money to protect just one person. His second security circle includes 120 men whose only job is to set up ambushes against anyone trying to get close. He moves between mountain compounds. He never stays anywhere for long. He uses encrypted communications. He trusts almost no one. Meanwhile, his cartel just keeps growing. While El Mencho hides, his family runs the operation. His son, Ruben Oseguera Gonzalez, known as El Manchito, is second in command. He was born in San Francisco in 1990, which actually makes him a United States citizen. He has been groomed for leadership since he was just 14 years old. El Manito is the enforcer. Court documents say he ordered at least 100 killings. He personally shot 2 people. He directed the purchase of weapons, including 50 caliber rifles and 40mm grenades. When Mexican authorities arrested him in Mexico in 2014, they released him for lack of evidence. They arrested him again and released him again. He was arrested a third time and released a third time. Mexican judges just kept letting him go. Some people suspected corruption. Others thought the evidence was genuinely weak. Either way, El Manito kept walking free until 2015 when they finally held him. In February 2020, they extradited him to the United States. His sister, Jessica Johanna, known as Lengra, was in Washington, D.C. at the time, trying to see her brother at his court appearance. Federal agents arrested her as well. She faced charges of financial crime supporting CJNG. So now, El Mencho's son and daughter are both in United States custody. His wife, Rosalinda, known as Liafa, was arrested in Mexico in November 2021. Authorities say she managed the CJNG finances, running the cartel's money. His brother Antonio, known as El Tony Montana, was arrested in December 2022. His brother Abraham, known as Don Roto, was arrested in February 2025. His son-in-law, Cristiano Fernando Gutierrez Ua, known as El Gato, faked his own death, moved to California under a false identity, and was caught in November 2024. One by one, everyone around El Mencho gets taken down. His entire family, his entire inner circle, and still he stays free. El Manito's trial ends in Washington, D.C. The charges? Conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine, cocaine, and FIAS weapons charges. Murder conspiracy. The verdict? Guilty on all counts. The sentence? Life in prison plus 30 years. The forfeiture order? $6 billion. $6 billion. That's how much money the U.S. government says El Mencho made trafficking drugs. That's how much they are seizing. His lawyer argues the sentence is excessive. Everything happened in Mexico. He says this should have been tried in Mexico, but fentanyl deaths happen in America. American addicts, American families, American juries. life plus 30 years, no parole. El Mencho has now lost his son forever. His daughter served 2.5 years. His wife was just released a few weeks ago. His brothers are in custody. His son-in-law is serving 11 years. The man who ruled an empire is now essentially alone. We need to go back for a moment. 6:30 in the morning, Mexico City, one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the capital, lists the Chapultepec. Omar Garcia Haruc, the head of Mexico City Police, is driving to his daily security briefing. It's a routine morning for the police chief's bodyguards in Mexico City. Suddenly, armed men block the road. There are maybe a dozen of them. They open fire with 50 caliber machine guns, rifles, and even grenades. Hundreds of rounds hit the police chief's vehicle. Garcia Haruc takes 3 bullets. His 2 bodyguards are killed. A woman delivering food, just passing by, is also killed. But Garcia Haruc survives, and from his hospital bed he tweets, "We were cowardly attacked by CJNG. This is unprecedented. The cartels have killed plenty of local officials, state politicians, small-town mayors, but attacking the police chief of Mexico City in the heart of the capital, that's a declaration of war." Eleno ordered the hit. Now, fast forward to February 22, 2026. Today, Omar Garcia Haruc is Mexico's Federal Secretary of Security, the top law enforcement official in the country. He just helped oversee the operation that killed El Mencho. 6 years later, the man El Mencho tried to assassinate is the man who signed off on his death. Early morning in the mountains around Talpa, Jalisco, Mexican Army Special Forces launch an operation. Air Force helicopters, National Guard units, intelligence from the National Intelligence Center, and, according to the Mexican government, complementary information from United States authorities. American intelligence helps track El Mencho's location. The Special Forces find a CJNG compound. Armed men, vehicles, weapons. They move in. The cartel opens fire, just like 2015. Except this time they do not have enough warning. This time the military does not retreat. 4 cartel members are killed at the scene. 3 more are seriously wounded, including Eleno himself. He takes multiple gunshot wounds. They load him into a helicopter for evacuation to Mexico City, but he dies during the flight. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, age 59 or 60 depending on the source. The most wanted man in Mexico, the leader of the most violent cartel on earth, dead. Within hours, Mexico is burning. CJNG's response is immediate and massive. Roadblocks appear across 6 states: Jalisco, Michoacán, Quima, Tamaulipas, Guanajuato, and Aguascalientes. Buses are set on fire, and trucks are torched right in the middle of highways. Pharmacies and convenience stores burn in Guanajuato. Shootouts are reported across multiple cities. In Guadalajara, gunfire is heard near the airport, and passengers panic. Videos show people running across tarmacs, just trying to reach cover. In Puerto Vallarta, the resort town where American tourists go for vacation, plumes of smoke rise over the city. Air Canada suspends all flights. Jalisco's governor activates a code red, and public transportation is suspended. Citizens are ordered to shelter in place. The U.S. State Department issues advisories, telling Americans in Jalisco, Michoacán, and Tamaulipas to stay indoors. This is the cartel's signature move, the same playbook from 2015: chaos, destruction, fear. You killed our leader, so we burned the country. The question now is whether it works. Experts have been warning about this moment for years. The kingpin strategy targeting cartel leadership has a mixed record. When El Chapo got captured, the Sinaloa Cartel fractured into warring factions. Violence increased, not decreased. When O.L. Cardenas Gillen, the head of the Gulf Cartel, got arrested, his enforcers, the Zetas, split off and became their own cartel, one of the most brutal organizations Mexico has ever seen. Every time you kill a Hydra head, 2 more grow back. El Mencho's death does not mean CJNG disappears. It means CJNG's lieutenants start fighting over succession. It means rival cartels see an opportunity to take territory. It means more violence, not less. Fentanyl keeps flowing. The labs keep producing. The precursor chemicals keep arriving from China. Nothing stops. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum has criticized the kingpin strategy. She has said targeting leaders just creates power vacuums and, honestly, more killing. But she's also under immense pressure from Washington. President Trump has threatened tariffs, military intervention, and the designation of cartels as terrorist organizations. She needed a win, and Eleno's death is, at least on paper, the biggest win Mexico could deliver. Let's count the bodies. El Mencho's estimated death toll from drug trafficking? Hundreds of thousands. The fentanyl epidemic alone has killed over 500,000 Americans since 2015. He wasn't solely responsible, but CJNG was a primary supplier. Police killed by CJNG? Dozens. At least 24 in one 6-week period in 2015 alone. 9 in the helicopter shoot-down. Politicians assassinated under Eleno's orders remain unknown, but CJNG is linked to killings of mayors, judges, and government officials across western Mexico. His own people killed? Countless. Cartel justice is brutal. Beheadings, dismemberments, bodies left on highways as warnings. El Mencho didn't just sell drugs, he sold terror. He sold the idea that no one, not the police, not the military, not the government, could touch him. For 11 years, he was right. Then he wasn't. Here's what I can't stop thinking about. In 1966, a boy is born in an avocado village so poor most people have never heard of it. By 5th grade, he's done with school. By 14, he's guarding marijuana fields. By 20, he's running heroin in California. By 30, he's been to prison and back. By 40, he's a cartel assassin. By 50, he's the most powerful drug lord on earth. By 60, he's dead in a helicopter, bleeding out while special forces fly him to Mexico City. 50 million people have watched Netflix documentaries about El Chapo. Books have been written, movies made. El Chapo became a celebrity suit. Eleno never wanted that. He stayed invisible on purpose. No interviews, no photos, no fame. But his impact might be greater than El Chapo's ever was. The fentanyl, the violence, the systematic destruction of Mexican institutions. His son is serving life plus 30 years. His daughter did time. His wife, his brothers, his son-in-law. The Oseguera Empire is in ruins, and El Mencho himself died the same way he lived in the mountains of Jalisco, surrounded by enemies with nobody who could save him. They say the family he left behind has enough money hidden to last generations. They say the cartel will survive under new leadership. They say this changes nothing. But today, for the first time in over a decade, El Mencho is no longer the most wanted man in the Western Hemisphere. He's no longer anything at all.